I'm just looking at things.
Chairman Isabel.
Start on 2 minutes late.
Okay.
Call the Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Is there any discussion? If not, then let's move on to our resolutions for tonight. Okay, very good. Let's see here. We have resolution number 2. Actually, number 1 for tonight. Resolution amending the 2021 budget. Sheriff's Department. Jeff's back in there somewhere, right? Yes, right, yeah. You want to explain that resolution? Wait, we need a sponsor first.
I'll sponsor.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. And Jeff, you want to explain that resolution a little bit?
Which one are you on? I'm sorry, I don't have an agenda with me.
I'm on the first one, resolution amending the 2020 budget for equipment.
So this is, we had some 20,000 rounds of 9mm ammunition, and we haven't used 9mm weapons in years. So we worked with a local gun dealer and sold those to him. And this is to purchase a dual antenna radar and 2 tasers and holsters to replace that equipment. It's a complete wash.
Good job.
Would you say 20,000 rounds?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions?
What's the value of the 20,000?
30 cents. 30 cents a round. That's probably not what they're going to sell to you.
Yeah, that's cheap.
But this was purchased years ago on the contract, so we did.
Good. Thank you for your hard work.
Any other questions? All in favor of moving it to full board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Let's move on to resolution number 2. Do you have the dog here? Okay. Resolution number 2 is amend the 2021 operating budget. K-9 budget, you're retiring somebody, huh?
Almost, not yet.
Okay, I need a sponsor for that. Legislator Sweet, second. Legislator Kelly, okay.
So K-9 Gage is approaching retirement very quickly, and we went and picked out a new dog, and that dog is going through the medical process right now to make sure that it's able and fit for duty for our agency. The nice thing about our K-9 program is all of the equipment and the dogs have been purchased through donations, and the treasurer keeps a running tab for us. So if this resolution passes and gets approved, it'll move from that account into the budget, so it's zero cost to the taxpayers. And when Gage does retire, we will announce the new dog. I don't hesitate to do that now, but we're in the works to make sure it's a smooth transition.
Okay, is he all trained and ready to go?
Partially trained. That's the couple-month process, so that we can take one out, take one in.
And how long did he have to be with his new
Depends on how quickly I'll give a little clue, how quickly she picks it all up, but she's partially trained and she's doing very well right now.
There's some questions here?
Well, if she's a she, the training should go quicker, probably, right?
I was going to say that.
In the history of our K-9 program, we've never had a female dog, and we picked her up on International Women's Day, so that was
Nice.
And how many years of useful duty do you get out of that?
Well, it all depends. I mean, ultimately they work till they're 8, 9, 10 years old, and she is about 2.5-ish.
And they wind up having 4 or 5 years to be a regular dog, right?
Well, no, unfortunately not the work dogs. They usually don't last that long and they don't retire well, sadly.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor to move it to full board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Cheryl gave me 2 brand new resolutions here. 3, right?
2.
2, okay. So we have to make an amendment to add these to the agenda, or no? You don't have to do it with it.
No, it's fine. You can just state which one you're going to refer to.
All right, then let's go to, resolution, let's see, resolution amending the base salary for secretary to the district attorney's office and confidential secretary to the public defender's office. Is that a sponsor for that? Legislator, okay, look, so Dan, okay. And, do we have someone here to explain that? District attorney?
So I can talk to, I think Nicole's here with me on this one. Logistically, I think there's some compensation are we just doing the DA secretary, not the public defender? Okay, so there's some compensation that was on another line that's being brought into the salary now. And then I'm adding from another line item, so if I had a part-time clerk position that I won't, or senior clerk part-time typist that I won't need anymore. So this is sort of bringing that in to bring the salary in line with the duties and responsibilities of that position. In my office, Nancy Hennessy's been there. I think she's with the county 36 years. And she's really more of an office manager. Her duties are although we're not changing the title, she really does monitor and evaluate the other employees, assigns work in my absence. She keeps the place running. So this is really getting her more in line with the duties and responsibilities of the office. The other item is I took that same senior clerk typist position that had money sitting in it, and I'm asking to move that to the criminal investigator's position. As I mentioned last time I was here, there are a lot of cases that really need the attention of law enforcement eyes on them. And so I restructured the dynamics of that position so that I took paperwork away from Kevin Snell, who's the current part-time investigator, and he now reviews every felony when it comes in the door, reaches out to law enforcement to get the items that we're missing and need, and he's collaborating with me. In fact, as you know, we had a homicide in the city last week. He went out with me to Amsterdam Police Department the first day. So it's very helpful for me to have that set of eyes on the case to help me dissect from his perspective what we need. And also, I had him going out for missing information. So for example, if there's a witness that was in the case that wasn't necessarily interviewed, Amsterdam Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, they're busy. They have new cases coming in. This is potentially an older case, perhaps a couple months old. I sent Kevin out to get me a statement from that witness.
Okay, I think we need a sponsor.
That's the question.
Question first, go ahead.
DA Diamond and Nicole, the way the financial impact statement is worded suggests that, the numbers look fine, looks like it's coming from one place going to another, but it sounds like, and I'm just looking for clarification, that in some way, shape, or form, these may be grant dependent going forward, because it says grant funding that previously added to the base salary be used to partially offset new base salary. All grants moving forward will be sought to further offset the county's share. I just wanted to get a better understanding.
So I can answer that partially, perhaps Nicole has some input as well, but the grants that we're moving, that were in that line, or will continue to be in that line, as I understand it, they've been there as long as these two people have been there, so we don't anticipate moving those grants. Okay. But I will tell you, we also just met with economic development. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend the meeting because I was at APD, but we maintained the meeting, and my staff met with economic development. There's a couple of new grants out there, so we're going to start looking at getting those grants into the county. We applied, I sent a letter out last night, before I left the office, a letter of intent on a grant, and there are about 2 or 3 other grants that we're actually looking to bring in. So we'll maintain the grants that we have, and we'll continue to look for other grants.
Thank you.
Anything?
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nicole, you have anything you want to say?
No, I just think that this brings, the commission both in the district attorney's office and the public defender's office in line with the other modular titles that are, within the county, so. Yeah, I'll just, one thing, it's not my department, but when you get to the public defender's line, that's on tonight too. It's in the same resolution. I just want to say, Rosemary Case, by the way, they're both fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and we're lucky in this county to have people like Rosemary Case or Nancy Hennessy, dedicated, hardworking employees. But I will say, Rosemary's brought over, of course, there's a lot more money for indigent legal services than there is for the prosecution, so we're begging for money. But it really takes the incentive for somebody to get out there and reach out there and do it. And she has brought in over $1 million worth of grants to this county. So when you're thinking about the emphasis in rewarding these two people who've been so dedicated and hardworking, I would just throw that out there as well.
Any other questions? All in favor of moving it to full board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Second resolution is a resolution amending the base salary of a criminal investigator. You have a sponsor for that? Legislator Sweet? Legislator Kelly? Okay, Legislator Kelly. All right, any discussion on this? Chairman, any discussion on this?
Doesn't look like, I think we're good with it.
Okay, anything?
I apologize, I included my
District
discussion on
attorneys
both of
always
them.
like to talk.
Pardon me?
District attorneys always like to
Yeah,
talk.
no, but you looked at me, so I thought you wanted me to piggyback on that, but I did mention that moments ago, that this is Kevin Snell, he's coming out with me, working, we need that, it's an extra day, and it's really important. Again, we're getting a lot of work done, and it's a better use of my time that to have him out there getting some of these witness statements, interviewing people when they come in the office, than for me to be taken away from other things that I can and should be doing. So an important feature of the job, and I'm glad he's here. He's another person who's very dedicated to this county, has been here a long time. We're lucky to have him, and I could use him an extra day, and luckily have some money in the budget to move over if they'll allow me to do that.
Nicole, you got anything to say on that? No?
I think this position also is partially grant funded, so some of that money is also being moved into the actual line, and it's just reflecting correctly now in the town budget.
Okay, any other questions? We move it to full board?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Any further discussions? Okay, thank you very much. Motion to adjourn. Legislator Kelly and then Legislator Sweet.
Okay. Call the Physical Services Committee to order. Martin Kelly, Brian Sweet, John McKenzie, Joe Isabella. Floor is open for discussion.
Chair,
Legislator Sweet.
I just wanted to say thank you to Legislator Bertel for the outing that we had the other day at the Beach Nut. Also would like to thank Ken for the tour. I just feel that that's going to help those who attended to, when we have to make decisions on that building, it's going to make it easier to do so because you know what the condition of the building is, where things are and whatnot. And on that same note, I was wondering if we could do the same thing with the Benner Road property. Get a bunch of us together and take a walk through, see where we stand, how we're going to move forward, just to give us an idea of what's what on that.
Absolutely. We can set that up.
Thought that might be a good idea to, get us all on the same page.
Good suggestion there, Legislator Sweet.
Thank you, Chair. That's all I got.
Okay, any other discussion? Move on to our first resolution. Resolution authorizing the county exec to enter into an agreement, grass and brush control for the county roads, 2021 and 2022.
I'll sponsor.
I'll second it.
Okay. You got both of them?
Yep.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of moving it to a full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Next resolution, authorizing the county exec to sign an intermunicipal agreement for leachate disposal with the village of Canajoharie.
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Patel, Legislator Kelly. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor of moving it to a full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Number 4, resolution approving the sale of surplus equipment. Legislator Isabel,
I'll second.
Legislator Sweet, or Kelly. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor of moving that to a full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Resolution authorizing the county exec to sign an agreement for landfill reporting services closed at the eastern and central landfills. I'll sponsor it, and
I'll second.
Legislator Patel will second. Any other discussion on that? All those in favor of moving it to a full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Number 6, resolution to award the bid to authorize the county exec to execute contracts for the road maintenance program.
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Peck and Legislator Sweet. Any other discussion on that item? All those in favor of moving it to a full board? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Anything other?
I just wanted to remind everyone of the 11 o'clock here,
Yes.
11 o'clock groundbreaking for the new public safety building on Thursday,
Okay.
Next Thursday.
next Thursday.
Next Thursday. All right. Motion to adjourn? Legislator Sweet? Legislator Kelly?
All right, on behalf of Legislator Diamond, who is evidently en route here, he asked if I could fill in for him if he didn't get here on time. I'd like to call the Health and Human Services Committee meeting to order at 6:18. Our voting members tonight will be Legislator Kelly, Legislator Isabel, Legislator Patel, and myself. Any discussion? Hearing none. Our first resolution is a resolution authorizing county executive to sign contracts with hometown health centers, tuberculosis diagnosis and treatment services. Do I have a sponsor? Legislator Kelly and Legislator Wilson. Any discussion on this?
Commissioner McMahon?
Commissioner McMahon is on the line with us. Would you like to add any color to this before we vote?
Mike, we can't hear you.
I'm unmuted. Can you
Now we
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So on the contract for the agencies, the foster care agencies, these are just routine placement agencies that we use.
Commission, this is for the hometown
I
health
think I'm on
center.
the right.
No, Commissioner, we're on the tuberculosis one for public
Oh,
health.
that's not me.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
that's right.
yes,
Okay.
you're right. Okay.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Thank you. Our next resolution is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign contracts with Berkshire Farm Center and Services for Youth, Canajoharie Central School District for Plain Central School District, Greater Amsterdam School District, Oppenheimer and Freitas, St. Johnsville Central School District, Hamilton, Fulton, Montgomery, BOCES for home run and turnabout prevention program.
I'll sponsor.
We have a sponsor from Legislator Kelly. Do we have a second? Legislator Sweet. Discussion.
Now it's you, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. This one is a contract we had in place with the school district. We're making a change on how we do the contracting, making it simpler for everybody in the school district and the county, and also allowing the OCs to get a larger percent group of personnel that may lead to more better programs in the future. So there is no impact really to the county. The OCs code service is picking up the local share, and we would be reimbursed the state share. So this is something we need to look at, because I think in the future we can possibly do more for better programs with what's going on with federal legislation that's going to require really us to invest more in prevention. So we're in a good spot here.
Any further input from anybody since given what the Commission spoke about? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Our next resolution is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign state-approved child care facilities agreements. Do I have a sponsor? Legislators Wilson and Kelly. Discussion. This is a regularly recurring one that we've seen year over year. Nothing new about this, correct, Commissioner?
That's correct. These are places they keep every year daily.
Okay. After no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. And our next resolution is a resolution amending the 2021 operating budget, establishing an LPN IAP grant line. And this is for public health. Do I have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Legislator Pertel, and a second. Legislator Sweet. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Legislator Kelly, Legislator Patel. Thank you.
All right, I'll call to order the Economic Development and Planning Committee. Is 6:23. Members are Martin Kelly, Brian Sweet, Roy Diamond, Daniel Wilson. Those are the voting members. Do we have any discussion before we start? No more discussion. We'll go right to the resolution. Resolution amending the 2021 operating budget for grant agreement, federal operating assistance, CARES funding, Department of Transportation, Economic Development. Sponsor is Mike Peck. Second is Dan Wilson. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move it to the full board. Second resolution, resolution amending the 2021 operating budget, 2020-2021 Snowmobile Trails Grant and Aid Program, Economic Development Planning. Sponsor, Martin Kelly. Second, Dan Wilson. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full legislative body. Resolution number 3, authorizing the county executive to sign a 4-year lease agreement for department's new copier, Economic Development Planning. Sponsor, Brian. Second, Pep. Any discussion?
I need to go back to do
There's one more. You gotta go back and do when we're done.
Which one did I miss?
Micro enterprise.
Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's okay.
All those in favor, or any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to full board. Mine of the resolution is the next one that has that in it, but we'll go for it. Resolution scheduling public hearing, Montgomery County Micro Enterprise Program, Office of Homes and Community Renewal Economic Development. Sponsor, Mr. Sweet. Second, Mr. Kelly. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to full board. legislative body. The last resolution, a resolution accepting a grant for the Montgomery County Community-Wide Hazardous Substance Assessment Grant Project, amending the 2020 operating budget, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Economic Development and Planning. And sponsor is Dan, seconded is Pep. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Move that to the full legislative body. Any other discussion? If there's no other discussion, then a motion to adjourn. Dan? Martin? All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is closed at 6:26. Thank you all.
All right, also on behalf of Legislator Diamond, I'd like to call the Personnel Committee, the meeting to order at 6:26. Voting members tonight, Edwell, Isabel, Bertel, and myself as filling in for Legislator Diamond. Any discussion? Hearing none, our first resolution, before we get into the approval of it, we need to add some language to the first resolved clause, as you read it there. Where it says resolved that, and the only resolved clause, that the Montgomery County Legislature hereby approves and adopts the Montgomery County Pandemic Plan as attached hereto and made a part hereof. The clerk will be amending the resolution online. So do we have a sponsor? Legislator Sweet?
I'll second.
Legislator Patel? Any discussion? Now, Nicole, would you like to, elaborate? I know, you handed them out to everybody today, and but please add some color here.
Sure. So at the end of last year, the governor enacted new legislation that would mandate that counties, public and private entities establish plans for future pandemics, specifically any future disasters that include communicable diseases. So what we had to do is there were certain elements that were required in the order, and what we had to do is basically put together everything that we've done this entire year into one package that needs to be submitted to the governor's office for April 1st. So in that, we had to take a look at potential, at all of the titles in the county, designate whether they are essential on-site, say like our sheriff's officers, whether they have remote capabilities, or whether they're non-essential during the height of some of a crisis. Of course, that will vary based on what that crisis is, and be subject to change, and you'll see in the appendix the list of the different titles. And how it's so far assigned them to their specific designation. Also within this plan, we needed to designate what the definitions are of essential versus non-essential, how we'll handle housing for individuals who are required or essential to stay on premises should they not be able to return home, or at least come up with a plan that we will discuss later on. Proper protocols for PPE, how to identify exposures, how to handle those when we get them. It really just, as I said before, mirrors everything that we've already done this year and kind of just compiles it into one packet. So, with that being said, the Personnel Officers Association as well as other counties have gotten together and we kind of shared each other's plans, and we kind of all gleaned from each other and adopted a policy that best fit each county in particular, and this is the one that I came up with for Montgomery County. I think it represents all the aspects that are required in that law, and I'm fairly confident it would suffice. The last element of it is that it needed to be approved, not approved, but discussed with all the unions, the bargaining units within Montgomery County. I have reviewed it with our largest bargaining units, which is PBA and CSEA. It has been sent off to Teamsters and Council 82, which is waiting for a response from them. It will not, for the most part, change, being that they're law enforcement and they're essential on-site only. So I do not see much change from what we have right now, but with our large units, there's 2 changes that I have incorporated into the one that you received tonight, and therefore it's for the most part good to go.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any other questions or discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Legislator Wilson, Legislator Hadwell. Adjourn.
6:31.
Okay, we'll call the Budget and Finance Committee to order. Cheryl?
6:31.
6:31. Remember, we are all on the committee. Discussion? Under discussion, I did hand out tonight a copy of the 2015 to the present sales tax. And if you look at the numbers from last year, up to the point that we're at, last year we had 4,660,187. Right now we are at 4,561,623. So we're about $98,000 less than we were at the same time last year. So it doesn't look that bad. It looks like we're going in the right direction. But this kind of gives us an idea. Yes.
Chair, just for an explanation, you have, 2 Februaries, 2 March, and 2 different numbers associated with that. Can you?
Sean?
Every month, we get 2 separate payments from the state of sales tax. So that's why you're seeing 2 payments that's when we actually receive the payment in the office that's what the month.
Is the second one like a holdback or something? I mean, why the?
Actually, the final reconciliation is actually the last 2 payments of the quarter. But I don't know how they actually determine the breakdown of the 2 payments within a month.
All right, thank you for that explanation.
Also, you have the dashboard report, and if you look at the first under revenue, there's a lot of red there. However, if you look down where it says total revenue, previous year total to date, 33,066,971, and the year to date is 32,389. So there's actually a difference of almost $700,000 there. So on that note, we're not that far off, even though there's a lot of red over there with revenue. But then if you go down to expenditures, year to date, previous year to date was 10 million, and year to date right now is about 8 million. So there's about 2.5 million difference right there, unless there's some room somewhere that they have all the bills in it that they're holding on until next month to pay. But it looks like there's a big difference right there. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Is this a timing issue with these? I mean, traditionally we've seen timing issues with the social services and things like that. Is that the case here? Or?
Sales tax has always been 60-day lag too. I mean, yeah. But I'm surprised myself that we don't have entries in there, Sean.
Well,
in sales tax for prior year to date and year to date. I mean, I would have thought. I mean, that's what makes this report is very virtual and actual, but it doesn't take into account the lag. You know what I mean?
Because the February payments that we receive for sales tax are actually
from December.
Are December.
Right.
So next month, the April dashboard for March, you will start to see sales tax revenues.
So the first couple of months, this thing was just kind of hanging out, waiting for stuff to be put on.
Right. And I will have a final 2020 dashboard next month. I was waiting on some bigger departments to submit their final fiscal goals, that's why I don't have it today.
Chairman Hedwell and Sean, just wanted some clarification on the DSS entries. I mean, you have no claims yet. You know, I mean, we should be at a point where February claims are in by March 20th, right? Yes. So where do you think we're gonna be with that? Have you heard anything from them?
I don't, but I will update you, still you in before the meeting next week.
Okay.
Find out where we stand.
The chairman I did talk to on that, and he was also going to look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
On the dashboard or on just expenditures and revenue?
Go ahead.
There's a $5 million variance in cash. I was wondering what's causing that swing in a total assets of $8.5 million. So on top of the cash, we're also experiencing $3.5 million of other assets. So what, do you have any idea what's causing
The
the?
cash flow, it all hinges, because the majority of the cash flow that comes in January, February, is the tax collections from 10 towns of the city. If they had a couple of good months of tax collections, that's why you'll see a swing in those first 2 months of the month. Especially that.
So this year, we're experiencing $5 million more payments from the municipalities than we did in the prior year?
It's
Okay.
possible, yes.
Okay. And what about the other assets?
I don't have it in front of me. Do you have a specific one you're asking about?
State and federal aid receivable, that looks like there's a $5 million swing there, 5.2.
End of month prior year, 3,020,000, end of month, 8.
Let me look into that and I'll shoot you.
Thank you, Sean. That's it, thank you.
Anything else? If not, we'll move on to the resolutions approving the abstracts of audited claims.
I'll sponsor.
Second? Was there a motion? Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Abstained?
Stay.
Charlie, is that?
Yep.
Resolution denying a correction to the 2019 county tax rolls. Have a sponsor? Have a second? This is Kelly Wilson. Discussion.
Can we just go back, that I didn't pick up on that. What is that adjustment on?
We haven't voted on that yet.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I get the two votes.
You want me to explain?
Yes.
Okay. This gentleman, Mr. Payne, bought the property October of 18. He got a January bill, he paid it. That spring, he went to the assessor for grievance to complain about his assessor, she lowered him. So that goes for the 20, when she lowers them in 19, it goes for the 20 tax bill. He's looking for 19 to be forgiven, which was 2 months after he bought it, and it's based on the 18 roll, which the prior owner never, he can't go back. We corrected everything going forward, but he can't go backwards.
What was the value of that? What was the monetary amount?
His bill, I believe, was $1,200.
And how much was he saying that was affected by the reduction in the assessment? Or that was
It would have been a difference of 425, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I tried, I did try to, look into it and talk to the state.
Very good.
Any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Next one is a resolution correcting the 2021 county tax roll. Got a sponsor? Kelly, Leslie Wilson. Discussion? Go ahead.
Okay, that's Dane Logistics. They are under pilot, and the assessor for the town removed the code that puts them in pilot too early, which generated a January tax bill. The IDA had already billed them through the pilot, so it's a double payment. It's a double bill. So we have to forgive the county, well, we have to wipe out the county bill because they paid through pilot.
In lieu of the pilot.
Mhm.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. And the last resolution is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign a settlement agreement. Have a sponsor, Legislator Kelly, second. Legislator Wilson, discussion.
Pretty straightforward. We are involved in the class action, trying to recoup some money on generic drugs. The parties have entered into a settlement agreement, or negotiated a settlement agreement with one of the individuals involved in that lawsuit, Christopher Bahari. And the negotiated terms are that the parties would drop claims against him in exchange for his cooperation. So it's believed that this is going to help move this article lawsuit forward for the counties involved. However, it requires you guys to sign off on it.
So what you're saying is Christopher Bahari was part of the original class action lawsuit, and now he's offered to testify.
Yeah.
And
Which sides?
6 times?
Which sides?
Oh, switch.
Switch.
Switch it, yeah.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Anything other?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Treasurer Barrowman, can you please update us on the tax situation with the city and the 500 and some odd $1,000 and how your project, research project's going?
Yeah, I'm almost done. I plan on issuing the legislature a written report, summary report next week. We are complete with verifying the actual receipts. We're still working on the outstanding, but the report, it's not going to be adversarial towards the city. What I'm doing right now is identifying records that the city claims they don't have, whether it was a bankruptcy or a contract, properties that I cannot identify and they did not foreclose on. And I'm going to work this through with the city to give them a chance to justify whether they received payment, did not receive payment, still on the books. There is a large portion of those outstanding taxes are probably going to be written off because they were coded as foreclosure, but the city never submitted an actual write-off entry to me. But there is some, I would say maybe 20 to 25% of that figure that there is questions whether the city possibly did collect it or not, or it still could be on the books.
So about 100,000?
Yeah, it could be upwards of 150,000. So we're still working through, we're putting the final up, probably by the end of the week. I hope to have that completed and report to you guys next week.
Thank you, Sean, for your hard work.
So then we would have something to vote on for this, Treasurer Barrowman, by the April meeting? Or are we going
I can't, I wouldn't want to, I don't know how long it's going to take the city, once I give them the listing of question marks I have, how long it would take them. It may take them a couple months. So really the onus is going to be on them to answer the questions that we have.
Do we have any idea? I mean, certainly there's no clock running like a football game here, but we don't want them to drag it out either any too long. Are you attempting to put a lid on their research time, a month, 2 months, 3 months? They're probably going to want to get settled.
When I send some of the final reports, if it's your intention, if you would like me to do that, I can request that. I can't require it.
No, I mean, I think you're doing the politically correct thing here. We chatted about this earlier today, and that's give them a chance to research it themselves and, confirm or deny, but I just didn't want it to go on ad infinitum, as they didn't want it to go on ad infinitum on our end here, that's all.
They're the ones that approached us, so I would say the sooner they can get a response to us, the sooner we can act on it.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn? Legislator Kelly, Legislator Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.